Kia orana, koutou, katoa, toa. It's Cook Islands Language Week, and we've been marking that this week with a flag raising and with some language use across the school and in assembly. So kia orana to our beautiful Cook Island members of our whānau and community. We hope you've had a great week marking your special language. This week we also had the cultural extravaganza on Monday. Congratulations to the talented students of Wellington College and Wellington Girls College and all their vast supporters and staff, parents, volunteers, conductors who put on an absolutely spectacular show on Monday night at the Michael Fowler Centre. Congratulations also to old boy Philip Wilson, winner of an Olympic gold medal in the rowing 8, a remarkable achievement for him and that crew. He started rowing when he was at Wellington College, and look where he is now. What a lesson to us all about how you can take the learning that you have at Wellington College and take it to the world. This week's video focuses on health issues, men's health issues, and it involves students talking to Wellington College staff about issues concerning men's health. We hope you enjoy it, we hope you find it beneficial, hope you can encourage all the young men in your house to watch it. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks for your ongoing support, and thanks to all the students who we know are going to represent us this weekend with pride on the sports field and debating and in a range of other activities that are taking place. Enjoy the video, have a great weekend.
With each other as men?
Not often enough. Not often enough. Not even to others, but to ourselves, and recognising that it's very easy to mislead yourself as to how you're coping and how well you're doing.
We like to keep things in, we don't like to share.
I think we're supposed to put on a brave, stoic face, or, keep it under wraps.
My contributions, obviously, you said before, I'm deputy head boy. I'm also the first 15 captain. Other than that, it does get quite hard at times.
In New Zealand, I presume it's in the world, but certainly in New Zealand, if you've got a mental illness, you don't, it's always said in hushed tones. I have lots of close friends, but we don't often talk about men's health, and it is quite spooky when, if someone says, "How are you?" and you say good, and then they say, "Well, how are you really feeling?"
Yeah.
Oh my God, do I have to reveal my emotions to you?
Historically speaking, men's health has always been kind of pushed to the side, or not even kind of mentioned or acknowledged.
I think, this whole idea of New Zealand macho men, I think it is a real issue.
I definitely think it's always been kind of societal stereotypes, that classic idea that men don't cry.
When we talk about men's health, like for you, what is health? What does it mean to be well? What does it mean?
I mean, well, if I look at it from a tangata whenua standpoint, Māori look at it as te whare tapawhā, you have your hinengaro, your wairua, your tinana and your whānau, so for Māori, I guess it's finding the right balance of incorporating all of those into your life and, making sure that you're all sustained, and they're the pillars that hold you up.
I guess that men's health is quite important just because we're all human, we all make mistakes, and we're all struggling about something. Like, no one's perfect in life.
Kind of have a watershed moment at the end of my year 10, where I was looking at myself. I was looking at some of the things that were going through my head, some of the things that I'd done as a result of what was going through my head, and there was kind of a point where I went, actually, this isn't particularly normal for anybody to be going through. This isn't particularly helpful for me.
Out of that sort of, how did you get yourself out of that situation?
I probably left it a bit later than would have been desirable, because it got to the point where I ended up in actual New Year's Day at my year 11, ended up in the Wellington A&D. That kind of forces help upon you when you're thrown into a situation like that, and so you went through the A&D department there, and the counselling services at the Koru Medical Centre, and so on and so forth. And then it's been a journey from there, working with the support network that's around you. I think that's the key thing.
For me, I do think that how we think about ourselves and the way we think about our lives and things we do, I think that's really critical to levels of stress and overall well-being.
The more we can talk about it in things like these arenas, the better.
Stoicism is a term that's often thrown around, especially in relation to men's health. What do you kind of think that means, or what's your take on that?
So Stoicism is about not
letting your emotions take over. In some ways, we seem to see it as a bad thing. And there's times when actually we need to be stoic. Life is going to throw challenges at you and stuff that you just have to deal with, and you want to deal with it. You trusted people that support you and that can help you with it. But generally, it's not great.
I think as you grow up and to actually, because I think to actually say no, I'm not doing okay. That's a big step.
People go, I'm fine, no, it's all good. I don't need to go to the doctor. And that is a really bad form of stoicism when actually they probably should be going in and getting checked out if something's not right.
You've got to recognise yourself for what you are. You've got to be proud of some of the things that you do. Look after yourself and be kind to yourself.
Have there been any times where you felt like you couldn't or shouldn't ask for help or look externally?
Absolutely, yeah. I've always been a real quiet person, and I never really talked to anybody at all for years and years. And then when I went to come to train as a guidance counsellor, we had to practice on each other. So I had to start talking about things in my own life. And that was kind of like almost a first for me. And I found it really helpful and surprisingly weird to kind of hear myself say things out loud that were going round and around in my head. And when I hear myself talking, I'm like, oh my gosh, things made sense to me. And so that's kind of been why I like counselling, the idea of it, because I think it's not so much what the counsellor says or anything, it's just hearing yourself talk.
For me to be well is to have my friends around me, my family.
Am I actually listening to my body? I think that's the most important thing I've learned about Haora is your body is responding to something and you need to actually listen to it.
Stay in contact with my family. I sometimes go visit my brothers just to go and say hi to them and just go outside, just play something.
Socially, you need your friends. You need a support network to fall back on because you can't do everything yourself.
When you're with someone and they're not in the best position and you feel their weight or their mode is down, then it actually enhances yours when you pick theirs up.
I'm blessed to have a very, very strong friend group around me and a very, very tight-knit group of people that I can lean on when things get a little bit tough.
To be selfish of one's time is a crucial thing, because I think for me as a teacher, the nature of our job is to give. And it can be an emotionally draining job, perhaps. But then to actually separate and have some time for yourself is key. So I think for me over the years, I've learned and developed techniques of leaving work and going home, and my home is that kind of sanctuary place, and I will just do things that make me happy.
One last question. Do you have any advice that you would give in relation from a men's health perspective to young men today, especially college aged?
Nutrition, exercise and sleep.
I'd just say open up, find your close friends, find people you trust and just be open to them.
Try and exercise regularly. If you've got health concerns, seek advice as soon as possible. If you're talking to someone, that's a good thing. If you're bottling things up inside, that's a real problem. So start talking to parents, start talking to mates, start talking to teachers, counsellors, priests, whoever your advisor might be. Try and find someone that you trust and share those inner thoughts, inner concerns with.
You've got to recognise yourself for what you are. You've got to be proud of some of the things that you do. Look after yourself and be kind to yourself.
I think from a men's perspective, I think you need to communicate, be open, be willing, show some vulnerability, listen and encourage.
Talk about it. I think ultimately the best solution you can find is to reach out to some of your mates, some of your families, people that you trust.
Yeah, I think my advice is that stereotypes aren't helpful. I think you cut yourself off from people by being who you think you ought to be.
Get yourself in a headspace where you're actually okay to say you're not okay.
Every time I walk around the streets and that, I just see people and they look very shy, and I'm like, do I feel that way? So then I asked my mum, and she said, don't be shy, always talk about how you feel and that. So
generations like yourselves that are coming through and saying hey, actually it's okay to not be okay. And I think that's been the biggest shift in raising awareness in our mental health?
Just, I think the other boys have said it too, but just be yourself and just talk to other people, you know. If you like feeling down, just like talk to someone, because that's the kind of thing